My original name was Black Boy. When I first got into comedy, they started off as Black Boy. But and it
Okay.
sound a little racist, honestly, but it was another comedian named Black Boy. So I stopped. I had to change my name. So one day I was sitting around with some friends and they smoking and everything, and we in there, and a Hardee's commercial came on, and the commercial was like Angus beef, 100% real meat. He was sitting there, he was like, yo, that's your name right there. He's like Black Angus. And I was like, Black Angus?
And he was like, hell no.
I ain't know. And then I said it the same exact way that I heard it on the Hardee's commercial. I was like, Angus Black, 100% real Negro.
Y'all have been going crazy showing love to the most recent editions of Billiards Music and Billiards Magazine. Now we have something super special for you. We are sitting down with the people's comic, Anguz Black. If you grew up in the 757, especially Norfolk, you know his name, you know his voice. I'm glazing a little bit, but that don't make it not true. Anguz Black is one of three comics behind 103 Jam's iconic Buddha Brothers morning show alongside Cool DJ Law and Big B. He is the mastermind behind the hilarious, unforgettable radio segment, What Part of the Game Is That? He's toured alongside various mainstream comics like Kevin Hart, Mo'Nique, Eddie Griffin, John Witherspoon. Y'all, that's not even scratching the surface, by the way. He's done it all from radio to stand-up to multiple filmed comedy specials. He really needs no introduction. Anguz Black, the people's comic.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Anguz Black wants to know.
You just mad at all this thug-nificence. Respect it, man. Bask in it.
What up? Yeah, you gotta say it like that. Yeah.
Anguz, thank you so much for making space for us. I already know you be booked and busy.
It's all good. It's all good. Thank you for having me on.
I gotta say, I'm practically starstruck, yo. Your intro is permanently imprinted into my brain. You have influence over an entire generation, my generation specifically, and those before. How does that feel? What is that like?
I hear it all the time. Like I be out and about, and especially when I'm performing and stuff, it'd be some young people at my shows, and then they come up to me after the show. They be like, "Oh man, I remember you from the radio show, from the Buddha Brothers morning show. What part of the game is that?" And then I be seeing, I was like, yo, how old are you? And they was like, well, I'm 24, 23. And I was like, when was you listening to me? I was on the radio in 2014 and below. But at the end of the day, I'm grateful, you know what I mean? Like, because nobody have to come up and show you no love and stuff. So I'm humbly grateful. I'm glad that I left a staple on the young people, because it's hard to do that in today's time, for real. So
it really is. And I guess that leads me into my first big question. Who is Anguz Black and where are you from?
First of all, my original name was Black Boy. When I first got into comedy, they started off as Black Boy. But
okay.
It sound a little racist, honestly, but it was another comedian named Black Boy. So I stopped. I had to change my name. So one day I was sitting around with some friends and they smoking and everything, and we in there, and a Hardee's commercial came on, and the commercial was like, Angus beef, 100% real meat. He was sitting there, he was like, yo, that's your name right there, Angus. He's like Black Angus. And I was like, Black Angus?
And he was like, hell no.
I ain't know. And then I said it the same exact way that I heard it on the Hardee's commercial. I was like, Anguz Black, 100% real Negro. And then it was just, it's just distinct. I'm from Huntersville. I'm from Norfolk, Virginia. The project, Huntersville, back in the day, home of family. We got a lot of people come from out that way. I made it out. Like, I can look back and just be like, wow, like I come from the gutter, and to be doing what I'm doing now is like a blessing. I've been around a lot. I've done a lot of community service. You can go some of these elementary schools, see my face hanging up on the school. I do a lot, but Norfolk is my home, and I make sure I represent it everywhere I go.
I have to say, you came to when I think it was like my 5th grade year. It was my 5th or 4th grade year. You came to our field day at elementary school.
What?
Yes, I remember that.
What school was that?
Ingleside.
Wow, yeah, okay. And
Ingleside Elementary.
I went to Ingleside as an elementary student.
Really?
Yeah, I went there. So yeah, that's my old school right there.
So, as the people's comic, how does your Virginia upbringing influence your many comedic styles? Like, what about Virginia inspires you to create?
First of all, Virginia, I don't think a lot of people from Virginia realize how big Virginia is outside of Virginia.
Yeah.
Because I'm on tour a lot. So while I'm on tour, I come across people, or when I introduce myself on stage, I be like, I'm from Norfolk, and I could be in Kansas, I could be in Omaha, Nebraska, I could be in Des Moines, Iowa. Somebody gonna be in the crowd like, 757, what up? We out here. Because everybody was stationed in the military here. We got the biggest military. Everywhere you go, Virginia is huge, especially when it comes to producers, which a couple of producers are my best friends, some of the biggest producers in the world. Knots Raw, Bink Dog. We got some legends here from 757. So I'm just glad to be a part of the movement, and I'm glad to be from 757. And once again, it would take for people to leave 757 to understand from other people how big this area is.
Yeah. I love that. So to backtrack a little bit, why comedy? What inspires you to pursue this career of all things?
Well, I'm a comedian fanatic. I love comedy. When I was coming up, I was up for Def Comedy Jam. My mom and them used to let me watch it, even though I was a kid, but it was like right after it went off, I had to go to bed. Comic View, every stand-up comedy show that was on TV, I was on Uptown Comedy Club, and you weren't even born when that probably came out. All of those shows inspired me. I guess the big thing that motivated me was I'm a good storyteller. When I tell stories, I had a couple of homeboys that used to always look like, man, you need to do comedy, man. Like, you be having everybody locked in, everybody be engaged. And I'm looking like, y'all think I'm funny, you know what I mean? Cool, but getting on stage is totally different. Now, at the time, I was in them streets, you know what I mean? Sleeping on my grandma's couch, this pretty much all over the place, not really having a purpose or knowing what I wanted to do. This guy named Pizzo Coconuts, he was the guy on the radio that brought me into the radio. We was on Hot 102.1 at the time before I even made it to 103. I was an intern, and he was the one that kept pushing me to do stand-up. And then one day he was like, he signed me up for open mic night, and I did not know. And then he got on the radio, and he said, Anguz Black will be performing tonight. And I'm over there looking like, what? What you talking? Yes, signed you up. You will be performing. And that's how I ended up doing my first show. I got pushed into it, and I was like, I couldn't back out. And I suppose it did like 10 minutes. And I ended up doing like 52 minutes on my first time ever. It was all over the place. But the guy who was throwing that night was Herman Hurston. Herman Hurston is a legend. He the one started all the comedians and stuff. He took me on the road with him, and then after that, that's when it just started I started to elevate, going from here to just, and now I look at my phone, I see all the comedians I used to watch on TV. Now they calling me. Now they hit me up. Yo, what up, Black? I'm looking like, oh, what up, such and such. It is still unbelievable. After doing this 20 plus years, it's still unbelievable that I'm actually doing stand-up, because I never would have seen it.
Parallel I wanted to draw here that you said about you not supposed to be watching Def Comedy Jam. I was re-listening to some of the skits that you did in What Part of the Game Is That? And I was like, I can't believe our parents really let us sit there at the ass crack of dawn just listening to this tomfoolery every morning.
And I was trying to be clean. Of course, I'm aware that I have kids listening to me on the way to school, but it's sad to say, but the negative or the raunchy stuff, that the edgy stuff, That's what sells, despite of what age you are now in this time. Kids are getting exposed to things that they shouldn't be exposed to until they get older. Now, if you listen to the morning shows and stuff now, like especially Breakfast Club and stuff like that, yeah, it's some stuff that's said that you be looking like, yo. But then at the end of the day, the type of music that's being played, you still looking like it's a double-edged situation. Or somebody gonna be offended because we in a overly sensitive world now where you can't just say what you want to say, or you can get blackballed. So I do experience the time where people weren't overly sensitive, like where you could talk about stuff or be dark and it still be funny. But now today,
yeah, or even not even necessarily being dark, but there are just so many things that are off limits. Because I get what you're saying, and I would actually say, I mean, it's a mild. It's not really a hot take. We'll say it's like, lukewarm. But I feel like there's, especially for the, unfortunately, for the Black community, there's always been an excessive exposure to certain things. I would say even then, like if it wasn't, because albeit in comparison to what they're hearing so commonly now, like with this unrestricted access to the world, kids have always, at least as long as I think we've both been around, which is, two separate generations, but as long as we've both been around, kids have had more access to the world than was probably necessary. And we all saw and heard things we didn't need to hear. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think it hurts anybody. I think it's circumstantial, but I turned out pretty well adjusted, I think.
Me personally, I feel that it did hurt. You know what I mean? Because I when I came up around a time where my dad and them had a parental lock on the cable channels, on certain channels, like around that time, coming up, you weren't around then, but coming up. Yo, it was things that you could not do, like staying up late, being on the phone late. We ain't have phones and we couldn't text message and Teams and on YouTube. We ain't had none of that stuff. So it was a lot of order around that time. Even other people, parents could talk to you or discipline you at that time. So I know in today's time,
yeah, it's different now. It is very different now, and I really could get into a whole tangent about that when it comes to education, which is my profession right now. But what you said not too long ago about things being off limits, that's actually a perfect segue into my next question, because you've been doing this for over a decade. What do you think Virginia comedy is missing right now?
Comedy. I travel all over, and most of the cities I go to, you got a lot of local comics in each city. You know what I mean? There's always some comic that's known in that city. A lot of cities that I go to, as far as how many people that they have that's funny. You know what I mean? I have a lot of choices to pick in certain markets, as far as like, I could use 5 local people that's funny, but then here at home, I can count on one hand how many people can get the job done. So I think because outside of just being a comedian, like I'm a scout or somewhat of like an agent type guy. I'm always looking for talent because I started a lot of comedians in the game. So I'm always looking for new funny faces, new funny people. And Virginia in general, the comedy is hurting here on another. I think it's hurting everywhere to a certain degree, because if you look at TV now, you don't even see stand up on TV like you used to. Like it used to be always like a Comic View, Bad Boys of Comedy. Well, I don't even mean to shout out Diddy jump, but I was almost on Bad Boys of Comedy. That's another story. And now comedy don't exist. Half the comedians that I see on Netflix, I don't even know them, never heard of them. They just somebody that's came out of left field and got a whole hour special on Netflix and never done stand up in regular clubs. It's a different time now.
Do you think some of that has to do with the short form comedy being as popular as it is? Like Reels, TikToks,
Yeah.
that kind of comedy.
So internet comedy.
Yes.
Yeah, internet comedy have definitely tweaked the game. I ain't gonna be like the other old school comedians and say internet comedy has killed the game. Like they a lot of veteran comedians are upset based on that. Okay, so I work both sides. I'm a comedian and a promoter. I book comedians, I put shows together. So I see it from both sides. I book a lot of internet comedians, and I'm big on giving people good quality shows, like shows that they can really walk out and say, yo, man, that show was funny. But I notice when I put good quality shows together that's actually funny, people don't come out because they never heard of the people. And nobody actually do their research to see who I'm bringing. But so that's what forced me to start booking internet comedians, even though I know they can't headline. They cannot do an hour, 45 minutes. They can't do that. Like 10 minutes after they say what you know them for on the internet. Now you looking like, oh, he said my favorite word. Ha. Okay, now what? Now they look. Man, look, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. I ain't really a comedian that admit it on stage, but guess what? My show sold out because I gave the people what they want. So now it's gonna take for me to give people what they want to the point by the time they leave, they can start looking like, okay, well, maybe I need to try something else instead of just what I know. You know what I mean? Because people come in the shows now just to get a pick now. Like, they don't care about the show. I just want to meet him or meet her, and I want to get a pick, and then they gone. You know what I mean? So I started a lot of the most influential people on the internet. I started them in comedy. Jess Hilarious, Shirlene, Jazzy, aka Toya Turnup, Pretty V, all of them. I had started them in stand up in general. They was all doing the internet thing, but I tried to show them a way to convert that over to stand up because I already saw the wave coming. Where I said, you know what, I need to put myself in a position to still be relevant. So I started internet people and trying to write for them and trying to post for them so I can start to get on their pages and people start seeing me and they were like, yo, I went and saw such and such. She was funny. I went and saw such and such. He was funny. But yo, the little chubby fat guy who opened up in the beginning, they talking about me. Man, he was amazing. And so I always try to find ways to adjust to where the world is heading. And technology is going to overtake everything, like it or love it or not. The internet crowd is Lil Duval was the first one to tell me that the phones now are the new cable channels. If you not on somebody's phone, you not popping. Nobody watching TV like that no more. This is the new cable TV. So all the celebrities on your phone are the ones that's going to be popping. So you need to adjust. And Lil Duval was the first one to tell me that. So, and that's what's happening right now. So
I don't know how long ago it was now. It still feels like a few weeks ago. It was the last time I saw you perform. And you had mentioned during your set a lack of raw comedy in the industry right now. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Raw comedy was, if you look back in time, if you could just go back and do your research, even like, let's use racism, for example, right? Racism in today's time, people are offended by racism. It's just like, yo, why are people like that? Why do people seem like it's like a sensitivity there trying to get people to like you? You know, like you're trying to get racist people to love you, to like you, when it shouldn't even have to be about that. Like, y'all can respect each other and still, I can still be like, look, I don't rock with black folks like that. I don't rock, but it's still like a professionalism type of thing there. So around the time back in the day, if you look, your mom and your dad, or your grandmama and granddad and stuff, some of their most favorite TV shows was the most racist TV shows you can find. Like In the Heat of the Night, All in the Family with Archie Bunker. Even the Jeffersons, the black shows was racist towards white shows, and the white shows were, and it was nothing but racism, but it did not offend anybody. So back in the day, your grandma and granddaddy and them, they had tougher skin back in the day compared to now, where when you say something or you talk about something, nobody know how to find the funny in it. Comedians are talking about real things that's happening in real life, and you put your spin on it. And then we got to a point now where people could just be like, I just feel like I don't know. I don't like it.
Anybody can go to Best Buy and buy that podcast mic and just start chatting.
My God, yo. The comedians that I grew up watching, Red Fox, any of them TV shows I was watching, today's people could not handle. They would have not lasted at all.
When I was younger, I used to rewatch Eddie Murphy's stand-up comedy all the time. I don't remember which one it was. I'm thinking of the one where he had that, like, I think he had like a red suit on.
So you talking about Eddie Murphy Raw? Or
yes.
That's the one he had the purple suit on.
Oh, the purple one? I don't know what I'm talking about then. All I know is he was dropping that F word. That's not F-U-C-K. Like it was nothing, right? And when I was a kid, I used to, in my defense, it was also a different time when I was a kid too. Like when I was walking around Ingleside, even at my age, they was already dropping that word. Granted, my mom had told me early on never to say it, and I never did. But I was so convinced that this was a normal thing to hear that I would rewatch it, and I didn't think twice about it. Fast forward years later, I was like 20, and I watched it again, and I was like, and I was watching it with a friend, and this was like 2020, like COVID, when everything got super woke out of nowhere, like TikTok started booming and all that. So I'm watching it with her, and it was so painfully tense in that room. And I was just like, let's watch something else.
So you couldn't handle it the next time you watched it as you got older. It was different in a bad way?
It was different in the sense that I guess I wonder, because I don't know because I haven't watched it since then. I feel like maybe it probably wouldn't have felt as uncomfortable if I didn't have somebody else in the room watching it with me, as far as like, I would have watched it and realized, dang, he sure does say this word a lot, don't he?
Yeah.
But because it was like literally, do you remember when COVID hit and TikTok became a huge thing? It felt like you could get in trouble for anything. That was like when cancel culture really started booming.
I agree.
And it was because nobody was outside touching grass. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, my mom had taught me from a young age not to use that word, because that word is a slur, at the end of the day.
Right.
Just in the same way the N-word is a slur, and they have very similar semantics to it, because people in the LGBTQ community feel like there is a group of people who can use it. Right. The straight folks are not those people. Eddie Murphy is not a part of that group. All that to say, he could never put that, like, if you equate Eddie Murphy's fame at that time to Kevin Hart's now, which is very equitable, you could definitely equate those two. If Kevin Hart did that, his career is over tomorrow.
How many times Kevin Hart almost get canceled for other stuff?
Right. And I couldn't even, and some of the things that people get canceled for, I'll forget 2 days later what it was even about, because sometimes it don't be that deep.
Like people going in your past and
reaching into your past.
17
reaching.
Like I was in school when that happened. Like who are y'all to go back in my past and judge me as if you God or something? Like you ain't got nothing.
Right. And you know why they do it as if they're God? Because the internet gives you a God complex. Nobody can, when user 234590 is sitting on their computer clacking away, they can play God.
Right.
People can play God over the internet, because who's going to check them? They don't. There is the only difference between people who choose to do entertainment and stand up is that now their whole life is on display. And unfortunately, part of the entertainment industry now is being able to torture public figures as almost like some sort of catharsis. And I really do think that's why people do it, because when you go out and see, because I actually think cancel culture is dying down a little bit based off of like patterns I see. I think it's starting to become a thing where people go, oh, people don't care about this in real life. Even when it comes to certain words, right? If we're just because we use that example, right. Even when it comes to certain words in real life, there are some people who don't take the same emotional, explosive, volatile approach. There's no point. It's too much energy to expend. So yes, thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
You know, and the crazy thing is, I talk about this. I recently did this at a show. It was all white folks at the show. So I like to do my racism jokes and stuff. So I do the typical jokes like how I know Jesus was black, or why white people think Jesus was white and stuff like that. Then I go into the like talking about the different type of racist words. So like the N-word is a racist word, but I'm not gonna lie, I use the word. It's just something about that word that is situations where I just feel like we're not gonna get rid of that word because white people and black people do the N-word S, you know what I mean? So what the word I don't like is monkey. Like, so if they call me a monkey or somebody call me, now that word could rub me the wrong way, but I'm a realist. So one night I was smoking and I was watching Animal Planet. For some reason, that's what people do when they smoke. They're showing a documentary on monkeys. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. How monkeys live, how monkeys act. They showing monkeys they smashing anything. So until they having sex with goats, they having sex. These monkeys they horny, right? They showing horny monkeys. Then they showing like people who go through the safari trails and stuff, and then the monkeys that's running around. You can look at the monkeys and tell that they are communicating like, yo, you see that lady purse? Like, I'm about to get that. Like, you can see it in their eyes. They about to rob somebody. So
that is so crazy.
I ain't gonna lie. So I'm looking at all this stuff that monkeys be doing, and I still don't say black people, we're not like monkeys, but I was sitting there smoking, and I was like, you know what? We not monkeys. But I do know a few niggas that do act like that, though. You know what I mean? I'm just keeping 100.
Is that the bit?
That's the. You see, and then I think about it. Now, when we was little and we got dropped off at our grandmama's house, when we used to act all crazy and stuff, what your grandma used to say? Sit your monkey ass down. Did she not say that? So now your grandma done called you a monkey. Then guess what we was wearing? We was wearing bathing apes. The ape shoes, the bathing apes, and they was wearing red monkey jeans. Like so you get mad, but we keep doing this stuff that we talking about. I don't know. I'm not saying that we are evolved, got anything to do with monkeys, but somewhere down the line, they might be cousins of ours, and we sit here getting mad about it. And I'm like, that might be family. You know what I mean? So that's how I try to see it, I guess.
You're crazy, yo.
She was like, boy, you just sound high right now. That's what it's.
Nah, it's I'm still processing the monkey joke. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hey, listen.
Oh my goodness. I'm still trying to recover from that one.
You know, Michael Jackson had bubbles. Like he had a pet monkey and stuff. Like the whole time Mike knew. He's like, this is our family, bro.
Okay, so this is like, I'm just personally curious about this, right?
Right.
So your racist jokes, have you seen a shift in the response? Like how people will generally receive the joke? Because, at one point, maybe people would be a little bit more comfortable laughing. Maybe now some people go, oh, no, that's not, no.
Well, you always going to have somebody who's not going to get it. Like, that's just what it is. There's no way to make the whole crowd like you. Like, it's just no way. But majority of the crowd, I would get the masses in the crowd to like what I said. So, and it's all about your delivery. Everybody can't do certain jokes. Like, I be on the road with Corey Holcomb. I toured with Corey Holcomb. And if anybody know Corey Holcomb, you know his jokes, they could be deadly. People who know Corey Holcomb, they come to the show knowing that he's about to have some type of dark humor or dark truth. So It's the people who come that just came and have no idea of who they came to see. They the ones that be in the lobby at the comedy club like, I want my money back. He's an a-hole. Y'all should not bring him here. And you sitting out there complaining at a comedy club as if he should have said it like this. I done did gay jokes, and the gay jokes weren't even offensive. But I still had a lesbian couple. I performed in Philly, and I did this gay joke, and it was hilarious. It wasn't offensive, nothing like that. I even had a few gay people that walked out was like, yo, I'm gay. And that joke was freaking awesome. Like, you know, so, but I had this one couple, this one lesbian couple, and the lady was like, can I speak to you? And you saw her wife go, leave that boy alone. Like, just let it go. She like, no. She like, I don't really have nothing bad to say, but she say, why do you even have to do gay jokes? I was looking like, I said, what you mean? I said, what did I say that was offensive? She's like, it won't the point if it was offensive or not. It's just like, why even talk about them? I was like,
why even talk about anything?
I said, so, and then this is the crazy part. Corey happened to be on stage. This is the same show. I performed and Corey performed. Corey got jokes where he'll talk about abortions and stuff, or a baby or something, dying or something. Like, it could be a joke. And I'm looking like, she came to confront me about talking about gay people, but didn't say nothing about the dead baby jokes. Like, so you be looking like everybody pick and choose.
Wow.
Yeah, I just cherish it because, man, we really looking like they trying to get rid of comedy or get rid of just regular life stuff. Like, is people trying to switch up the whole game, and I don't like it.
I feel you.
To be a comedian now, when I go on stage, is comedians are really telling testimonies, and they making testimonies sound funny, but the stories be real. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I'm just at a point now. I like my platform. Based on that, I get to educate and be funny at the same time and be crafty, you know what I mean, to make people think and stuff. So I'm just trying to keep that still alive, and you just got to know how to read your crowd. There's some crowds I can go in and be like, oh yeah, they want that dirty, raw stuff. And then sometimes I can look, oh, this is a clean crowd right here. Like, I'm going to do all clean jokes tonight. You just got to know how to read your crowd.
Yeah. You've been in the game a while. Mm-hmm. Who's a 757 comic that everyone needs to see ASAP?
A 757 comic?
Mm-hmm.
You got my brother Bodacious. Bodacious on tour with DL Hughley. He like my big bro. He took me under his wing too. We got my man Skeeter G.
I remember him. He performed the first night I saw you.
Yeah. You got Skeeter G. You got Gary Mitchell. You got my girl Kristen Seville's, her and her husband, they on tour. They got the podcast, and then we had Sex Podcast. They are popping. Man, we got so many people of different flavors. I got my man Nick Dees. He look like a white dude with a mullet.
Okay.
Yeah, like he like a rock and roll Joe Dirt. You know what I mean? Well, he looked like Seth Rogen in the face a little bit at the same time. So, but yeah, I love all comedy. Comedy is like battle rap. Like, I love battle rap. Battle rap everybody had their signatures in battle rap. Everybody know what they're known for. And when battle rappers are rapping, they say a bar that make the crowd go, oh my God, did you hear what he said? He said, didn't I give your mom such and such? So it's comedy the same way. When I'm on stage and I'm doing my jokes, it's other comedians watching me or local comedians from that city who heard about me, who are like, they in the back. Let me see what the hype about. I keep hearing about Anguz Black, never seen them. Let me see the hype. So when they see my jokes and stuff, by the time I come off stage, is that battle rap feel. Is that, yo, when you talked about the such and such, about black people being like with the monkeys and stuff, and then you brung it back around and stuff with the bathing apes. Oh my God, like bars. That's what I'm on. I like to make people think. So for an example, I can hit you with, man, the gangs in Virginia is getting off the chain. Like we got all these Bloods everywhere, and I come up around a time where Virginia didn't have gangs like that. But the only thing is that I hate about our gangs don't have no organization to them. They just claim stuff because of the color. So for an example, the Bloods, they claim the red box now. You can't even go rent a movie out the red box because now the Bloods done claim the red box. So I don't know if y'all heard about it, but it was a guy at the red box that was a Crip. He was a Crip. So y'all know Crips wear blue, and he went to the red box trying to get a movie, and Bloods came up and they shot him and they killed him because he was a Crip at the red box. Now that's his fault because he should have known better. He know he's supposed to go to the blue box. Like, but then somebody was like, well, Blockbuster is closed now. I was like, well, okay, well, but it's ways to make the story sound real, but it's not real. Like, so some people had to sit there and be like, huh? Yeah, the red, okay, maybe the joke might suck. I don't know. I was just giving an example, but
You just came up with that?
Yeah. It was
just already made that up?
I don't know. It was just a story in my head. I don't know. In my mind, it sounds deep, but it might sound stupid to somebody else. I don't know.
Okay. So the next question I got for you is a little cliche, but I gotta ask, what is the ultimate dream?
I kind of wanted to be an agent. Like, I wanted to have my own agency and sign my own comedians. I want to have my own empire of comics. Like, because even though I don't have it now, people hit me up now and ask me for comedians. I do supply a lot of employment for comedians as well. Like, I get comedians work. So, yeah, owning my own comedy agency, I think, would be the primary goal or one of my biggest goals.
Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. I could see that for you. And we're going to claim that because you've already become so much to the 757. And there's absolutely no limit on what else and who else you could become. You know what I mean? But before we close out, is there anything else you want to leave the people with?
I know the world's looking crazy right now, and it's easy to not do what you're supposed to do, but just know that those thoughts are not your own thoughts, that the energy and stuff that's coming to you, you got a negative side and a positive side. But you need both. And I think a lot of people out here are living in delusion when they want everything to be positive. You need negative to have positive outcomes. So for an example, a car can't run without a negative charge. It's not two positive cables up there. It's a negative cable and a positive cable. Now, just because some things are happening negative in your life, it could be the setup for the great things. So when bad things happen to me and when I'm starting to look like, oh man, I think I'm starting to feel defeated, now I learn to take the negative and be proud of it because I know something positive is about to come behind this negative. So understand, if you're in a negative situation, that don't mean it's a bad thing. Sometimes negative situations will save your life. Everything happened for a reason. So don't get discouraged and keep going. And you done went too far now, so ain't no need to stop now.
You ate with that one a little bit. You ate with that one.
I ate with that a little bit.
You ate with that a little bit.
I wasn't even gonna talk like that. I wasn't even gonna say nothing like that. It just came up. You know what I mean?
So be sure to check out Anguz Black, the People's Comic, and our special edition release of Billiards music on www.billiardsvmsoa.com and our Instagram page. And be sure to connect with Anguz on Instagram at comedian Anguz Black. That's Anguz with a Z, Black, for everything he has going on. Until next time, I'm your host, Vania Alani. And remember, Virginia is not only a place for lovers, it is a sanctuary for dreamers. Bye, y'all.
I like that. 757 out here. You would be going to Ingleside now. We didn't have no Spanish girls in no Ingleside back in my time. I don't know.
That's crazy. Anguz, I'm not Hispanic.
You not Spanish?
No, I'm
been two-stepping on the ops, check the footwork. I was writing rhymes in the class, fuck bookwork. While my old hoes are coming out the woodwork. Some of my new hoes trying to see how this would work. I'ma pull up on her, I'ma give her ass good work. Niggas try to tell me none of this could work. Well, I got a whole lot to say when it's my turn. Still gotta pop my shit, let me cook first. We been two-stepping on the ops, check the footwork.